Okay, gonna do how to build stealth builds, right? A little bit different to loud. There's not that many choices, but there's still a couple things. First of all, we're gonna actually start in Ghost Tree because this is where the majority of the stealth skills are. You got the Shinobi Tree, which is just all stealth. This is where like most of the stealth stuff is. It's good. In the beginning, you probably just want to be picking up this whole tree. Later, once you know what you're doing, and then you stop using ECMs, then you can like cut this, you can cut this, and just use these. But for the time being, ECMs, you're gonna want to be using them. Okay. Obviously, we're gonna want a duck and cover and basic parkour at least, just for some movement. And then you're also gonna want to get some drill skills. Just most stealth maps have annoying drill things that you need to do, and also you want to at least get this basic for the silent drills. You have to get hardware expert basic. Later, when you have more points, is like the finishing stuff, Kickstarter, because it's just convenient. It saves you a couple of seconds, but it's 9 points, really not needed. And then shape charges can help on a lot of maps, but it's also not really that needed. You can cut it. Jack of all trades, pretty essential. You really want to be getting this. It allows you to have 2 deployables, then you could be using trip mines and body bags, or ECMs and body bags, or yeah, whatever you really want to be using. Unfortunately, there's not much, just transporter, just so we can be moving bags easier. Gonna actually try and pick up Stockholm Syndrome, and we're gonna get confident as well. This to keep all civilians down. Say if you're doing solos or it's just a big map, say if you're doing I don't know, any of the banks, Trustee Bank or Go Bank, where there's a lot of hostages, you don't have enough cable ties. This can really help getting everything down, especially if you pair it with saw, the like Overkill 9000 saw, the bauble thing. You just slam that on the ground, everything's down. You're good to go. Confident, because sometimes it's easier to intimidate the guards and then get them down instead of shooting them. Say if they're like, I don't know, behind our window or something, just shut them down without shooting. Finishing touches if you want, get Rifleman, just because you'll have some spare skill points, because there's not that much to pick up. You got a lot of room to work with. In Fugitive, there's just nothing. Here, high value target is pretty useful because you don't need it for the damage, but the increased mark duration. Having double time on that, pretty useful. Easily mark the whole map. There's 3 different perk decks you want to be using. You could either use Yakuza, Hacker, or Burglar. Where's Burglar? Burglar's here. They all have their own different pros and cons, right? Burglar, you need to have the Clover character pack. It's probably the best for beginner. It's increased like pager times and body bagging times and a bit of movement speed while crouching. So it can be really useful in the beginning, say if you less confident. It's when you fuck up, it makes it easier to recover. Then you've got Yakuza, which is, if you play it correctly, you should never really fuck up. You get really high speed, you can move around a lot, but you need to be less than 50% health, which is quite easy. I'll show you how. And then, yeah, if you get good with Yakuza, there's no turning back. This is probably the best. But the others are fine, completely fine if you want to be using them. And then finally we got Hacker. The ECMs can be really useful, especially for just disabling a camera that you can't reach to loop it. Just disable it for a couple of seconds, do an objective and then get back out. Solid. If you are very new to the game and you're very tight for perk points, just get Hacker, because you can also be using it loud. It works with both. Yakuza and Burglar don't work so much, especially Yakuza, that one's awful and loud. But Hacker, perfect for both. So if you're, Infamy 0, probably want to be picking up Hacker. And it's not a DLC, unlike Yakuza, which is the Yakuza character pack, which got Jiro in it. So if you're using Yakuza, you gotta bring either Molotovs or get Frenzy. So you need to be below 50% health to get the speed boost with Yakuza. Most maps you can Molotov yourself. Most of the banks, there's areas of split away, like Shadow Raid you can. Like, some maps you can't though, say Breaking Feds you can't, Yacht Heist you can't. If you Molotov, you're just going to be immediately alerted, so you have to use Frenzy. You have to cut a little thing, say cut high value target, ace parkour, just some things like Rifleman, just the finishing touches. But it's not that bad. It can be very handy. Frenzy gets you on 33%, you just need to be below 50. Careful, because if you are doing it on death sentence, you may just get tapped, which is frustrating. So don't burn yourself too much, because the amount of times I've just failed a stealth just because you get shot first and you just get one tapped and then you cry and then you get all depressed and whatnot. It's a bad time. So yeah, there's most of the skills and perks. Melee, you should be using either the buzzer or the electric brass knuckle. So if you're not detected by a guard, any hit will one-shot them, no matter the damage. You could literally just tap this man's toe with anything and they just die. So you don't care about melee damage, even if you're using Frenzy for Yakuza. You don't need the katana or anything. You just want to be using the buzzer or the brass knuckle, because they've got a good concealment. Got 32 because we're also using inner pockets basic, which you don't need to be picking up. But if you're having a hard time, you run inner pockets and optical illusion ace. We'll get to that. So also it stuns them, so if there's like, I don't know, a few guards, you can just buzz them. It makes it a lot easier. Buzzer and the electric brass knuckle, they're the exact same, just different look. Buzzer just looks nicer, which is why I use it, but electric brass knuckle, no DLC. You use whichever you want. Thermal, it doesn't matter. We're using Yakuza. Maybe bring Molotovs, if not, I like to bring Shokens just in case you fat finger your throwable key and you don't want to, throw a grenade. If you have, say, Wolf HUD, I don't know about other HUDs, but most HUDs should do it. You need to double tap throwable, so it doesn't really matter. But, it's something to think about. Okay, we're going to get to this. Just wear the suit, nothing else you need to use. The equipment. So it's best to use trip mines, not for the shaped charges, just to have trip mines to put on sensor mode and just to mark all the enemies, right? If you can go around the map, put down, say, even 5 trip mines in spots that the guards were going to walk through, it's going to really help. You're just going to have things marked throughout everywhere. It's going to be really easy. It's always nice to have body bag cases, which is why I put it on secondary. With Jack of all trades, your secondary is only going to have half, so we're going to have 1 body bag, which is why we put it on secondary. So make sure you make that primary, that secondary. In the beginning, you're going to be fucking a lot. You're not going to be good at stealth, so you may want to use ECM jammers just, I don't know, to help, I guess. ECM jams are very overrated, I believe, and sure they can help, but yeah, you shouldn't be relying on them. That's not good stealth. Some maps they can be quite good, say if you're doing just a Harvard trustee bank, you just put down ECM jammer so then you can clear everything without anybody calling. Sure, they're useful in that regard, but when you're doing a proper stealth, say more shadow raids, breaking feds, yacht heist, murky station, even a lesser big bank, the good stealth maps that you know, a bit harder, you want to be using trip mines and body bags. And suppress sentries don't work. Don't try them. They're not. Yeah. Just don't. Next, we're going to go to the weapons. It doesn't really matter as long as you have silencer on. I'd highly recommend trying to bring a shotgun. The judge is like, you know, busted OP. Everybody should have a judge. It's just a community item, so you just need to be following their Steam group. But, you know, you should be using a judge. And don't bring HE, obviously, and don't bring AP. Because if you bring AP, you may shoot through a guy and shoot windows and shoot through walls and hit windows, and it can cause all sorts of headaches. Just use triple O box. If you're the host with shotguns, you can boost bodies all around. So if you just, like, I don't know, tap them at, say, a 45-degree angle, you're like crouching down, you can boost them across the whole room, and it can be really useful to boost guards into spots that they won't be seen in. Save you a body bag or two. Say yacht highs, boost them off the edge. If it's just a civilian, don't do that. If it's a guard, then you won't be able to get the pager, and then you're really fucked up. But, you know, always nice to have shotguns. If you don't want to join the group, you could maybe bring a locomotive, which is another shotgun, which isn't very good. Do I have one? Yeah, I have one. And then primary, it doesn't really matter. I like cavity, just, you know, can tap. You got, these are the best akimbos if you want to use akimbos. Bow works fine. Always have, you know, nice to have a saw for some of the maps. What other stuff? I mean, you could use like any of the bows. I don't particularly like the bows anymore, but you can use any of them as long as they have good concealment. You know, if you have a few concealment boosters, you can use them just to help out. You want to make sure you have 3 concealment. Unlike dodge, which is 5 or below, this one you definitely want to have 3. So maximize. If you are struggling, like I said, make sure you're picking up inner pockets or optical illusion ace, because you've been running silencers. If you're running optical illusion ace, don't use a bow, use an actual silencer. If you don't have golden green casino, there's other weapons you can use. The commando, I believe, is 22, so that's workable. Most of the dodge weapons, so say Raven, you could use. If you want to use a sniper, use the Desert Fox. That can be helpful in some maps like Firestarter Dave 1, which isn't meant to be stealth, but you can stealth it. Well, it's really difficult though. So yeah, I think that's about it. I don't know what else to say. That's how to build stealth. Yeah.